Yeah.
They don't work.
Yeah. Well, I learned like the school buses are like really dated technology.
Yeah. You notice how we're getting further into the year.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
And then December, I think.
Or-
Yeah.
The camera is on.
All right, welcome. You all stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we're gonna start right out with the superintendent's update. I think it was on my computer. I'm sorry. So motion to approve the minutes from last meeting. Danielle, Tammy, all in favor? Motion carries. That brings us to superintendent.
Yes, good evening. Happy October, everyone. First, I just would like to acknowledge the school board. It is School Board Appreciation Week/month, and certainly we have 9 valuable members. They get paid a huge salary to tackle some really hefty things, but I really appreciate giving back to the school community. Some have been on a very short amount of time, some have been on a very long amount of time, and on behalf of the Brunswick CSD community, I'd like to thank you all for your service. Next, just a couple small things. Mr. Rizzo is going to give one of the larger updates, which is related to world languages. So I'm going to just tell you that he'll be updating you on that. I did let you know a little bit of what was going on in news and notes. What I've been working on from the district level is a regionalization plan. All schools in New York State are required to submit a regionalization plan, and it is a quite thick, hefty plan that talks about all sorts of things. Mission, vision, the number of programs that you offer for kids, and one of the things it's going to look at is capacity. So we've been working with our district superintendent and some data services to upload this large packet. Once I get done with it, I'll actually share that with the board so that you have that information. It's really interesting to see in some cases how we compare to the rest of the state. I still don't know exactly what they're going to do with that, but that will be determined. But I'm happy to share that once I get that done. So that'll be fine. Next Tuesday, I actually have a meeting with Schumer, Senator Schumer, and some of the topics will be federal funding priorities, challenges in staffing, academic recovery efforts, student and educator well-being, school safety, education policy, and addressing the needs of an increasing diverse student population. So I'm one of a handful of superintendents that will be meeting with him on that. Beyond that, we're off to a really great October. We still are in the process of finalizing schedules. We still have a couple postings that are out there, but I think I will defer to the principals at this point. So why don't we start with Mr. Rizzo?
Hi, good evening. Dr. Morley, thank you for your volunteerism on the board. And good evening. Oh, it's loud. Thank you again for your time on the board. We appreciate it very much. It's nice working with you the last 5 years I've been here. So the biggest thing last few weeks here that secondary schools have been looking at is the world language program. As you're now well aware, we have some impactful changes due to staffing. So Anna, Tokariva, Anna McKenna have requested a volunteer change in her FTE, and when she asked for that reduction, it immediately set in motion a lot of possibilities in terms of what needed to happen to continue our world language program. Fortunately, Miss Norton and I, first off, Miss Norton is a former world language teacher here, so that definitely helps. But we had a lot of data from other schools who have been doing research on looking for staff, looking for foreign language teachers around the Capital District, and I already had some data in hand from other schools, knowing that much bigger districts with more resources than us were already not finding teachers. And we had previously dipped our toes in the water with French and explored some of the possibilities and found this is one of the more challenging areas to hire. So long story short, we had a couple plans in place depending on Miss Norton, Tokariva, I keep saying Miss McKenna's plans. And the plan is as follows at this point in time. So we're very fortunate that Mr. Califano, who is seated over there, I want to say congratulations for his soon-to-be appointment. He's been in our building for the last year or so, subbing for Reach, subbing for short-term maternity leaves, subbing daily for us, and he's made quite the connection with our students. He's often present at games, athletic events, both home and away. And it's been noted by our school community administration, his presence and how much students really appreciate and enjoy working with him. So we interviewed Mr. Califano, felt that he would be a great match for our district in the long term, and we also felt that moving to Spanish is probably the best long-term solution for our district. Losing the Russian program is going to be very sad for us. It was something that a few years ago, if you recall, we brought back thinking we're going to phase it out, and we found Ms. McKenna. We were hopeful we can revitalize it, but Russian's probably the most difficult of all the languages to find, but even French almost impossible, and even Spanish is I don't want to say unicorn, but not easy to find a Spanish teacher these days. So we're very fortunate to have him come on board, and the plan is going to be to transition to offering Spanish only in our school. It's going to be a gradual transition in some places and very abrupt in other places. So let me go through the plan with you. Mr. Califano is going to take over our 6th grade exploratory world language program. There's 3 sections of that, and the curriculum will not change. It's exploratory. It's really about learning about cultures and exposure to various countries and languages around the world. Students will be immersed in basics of the languages in terms of just how to greet each other and how to say their names, food, stuff like that. So that won't change too much. He will take that over, those 3 classes, beginning on the 21st of October. Russian 7 students, they're going to be immediately changed over on the 21st to Spanish 7. And the reason for that is because middle school students do need 2 years in the language in order to get the high school credit. So the sooner we can get those Russian 7 students into Spanish, Mr. Califano, it's going to get them on track to stay on track for Spanish and have the language credit they need. And then they will be able to continue on in high school, potentially with an advanced Regents diploma if they so choose. The Russian 8 students, they're in their 2nd year, so we're going to give them the option. If they would like to switch over, they may switch over immediately to Mr. Califano and start taking Spanish. But some of the students may want to stay, and if they so choose, they can stay in Russian 8 and finish the year out with Ms. McKenna. And the reason for the choice there really is this. Some students may just want the 2 years and the high school credit, and after the 2 years, they're done. So they may just want to stay put and be finished with the year with Ms. McKenna, and then they're totally done with their language credit they need. However, if a student wants to get an advanced diploma, they may want to move over to Spanish because then they can continue on with a pathway into high school and get the 3 years of high school as well for an advanced diploma. So we're going to give them the choice. We're explain to them and the parents as well in terms of the options there. We do plan to have a Google Meet with parents, and there's a letter going home as well to families. And we're going to meet with students tomorrow in classrooms to explain that as well. And then the Russian 2 students, now they're in, a little further along in their pathway for Russian. So the plan for Russian 2 is they're going to stay put with Ms. McKenna for this year. And we are going to explore options for next year for Russian 3, which is the Regents level course. We certainly don't want to pull out the carpet from them at this point in time. They're so far along in their pathway. And Ms. McKenna is here this year. So we have some searching to do for next year, look at the possibilities to continue on, for Russian 3 for them. And then the Russian 3, 4, 5 students, which is the college level course for Russell Sage, we still will offer that. Ms. Carlstead, who is teaching remotely, is overseeing that. It is an independent study course, so she's really serving as the mentor, and she works with the students as need be. And that's a course that students really don't need an in-person instructor for. So we do see that being an option in the future for the students who are in Russian 2. They can next year continue with Russian 3, and then we'll still offer Russian 4 and 5 the following year. So those are some of the changes. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's been a very, very busy week plus, and there's still a lot more here to do when it comes to the next part, which is going to be communication starting tomorrow with the students and then with the parents, and giving them more information and helping them make decisions that in the best interest of children when it comes to the language program.
So I will say we do have a post out asking for any certification for a language, potentially for the remote French that we have right now that we promised that we would continually recruit for. I'm not super hopeful, but we wanted to be transparent about that. Now, if the region standards change with the Blue Ribbon Commission, we might be having a different conversation than the current plan right now. But the plan that Mr. Rizzo just said would be the plan if nothing changes with region's expectations.
I'll just add that there's quite a number of schools in the capital region that are already just offering Spanish. In fact, the district I came from before this was offering Spanish only. I think that's a move that districts have seen on the horizon for a number of years. We've been very fortunate to offer 3 languages, and we're hopeful to hold on to 2, but just is not sustainable at this point with staffing. And it's not fair to the kids, honestly. We could try to offer something, give it our best effort, but ultimately then if something happens, someone gets sick or leaves, then we're just pulling the carpet out from kids who get, when they get deeper along into a language, it becomes really unfair for them to have these changes suddenly pulled up underneath them. So I do believe this is what's in the best interest of all of our students this time for consistency and sustainability as well, for Tamarack. And again, I just echo the fact that losing Russian has been something that Dr. Maloney and I talked about. We really did not want to go this direction. We talked about it 3 years ago and thought we're bringing it back. We're really excited about building numbers and it's going in the right direction. But Miss McKenna has to, take care of her family at this point and make her decisions. And I think right now for our students, I think they'll be very excited with Mr. Califano coming on board full time. And to tell you, that's really the biggest positive news right now I have. This whole thing is just having him here. We're super excited. I mean, that truly having him join is going to be just tremendous. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Califano.
Thank you.
Yeah. Whose kid is that anyway?
Good evening. Again, I'll echo my thanks and appreciation to our school board for your ongoing engagement and advocacy for our school and programming for kids and also your support. I found, and I believe my colleagues would share, you're all very approachable and engaged and involved in our routine activities. So very much appreciated and doesn't go unnoticed. Fire Prevention Week is this week. So tomorrow we're looking forward to our beloved fire prevention assemblies, which will be happening out in front of our school because thank goodness it looks like the weather's going to cooperate. We always look forward to that and for all of our fire departments joining us and engaging with our students. I want to thank the PTSA for hosting another successful color run. That was a district-wide event, very well attended by our elementary students and families. I think it was a big success and really is a nice way to bring the community together. We also had a wonderful welcome back picnic earlier this month, very well attended. It's put on by our character education committee. It's kind of a beautifully simple event, and what makes it is all the families that really show up and just have a good time with us and welcoming their students back to school. I did want to let you know that we have a parent engagement session scheduled that we're working on involving or to cover the topic of the rise in smartphone use among children and adolescents, combined with the decline in and changes to play in childhood development and how that's kind of impacting students in their development, what we're seeing in school. So kind of the thinking now is we'll present some information based on our learnings and our perspectives, but we kind of want to engage parents and open it up to have a conversation about this. So stay tuned for more on that. Thank you.
My name is Rachel Abate Community. Thank you for having me again. I also want to echo the thanks as well as recognizing the sacrifice away from your home lives and your families. My dad was a member of the school board for many years, and I remember many missed dinners due to school board meetings and events. So thank you for your dedication and your time away from your families in order to serve. I do have a couple of special education updates from the special ed office. One of the programs that we are very lucky to have here is a work-based learning program, which allows for students who are on differing graduation pathways other than our Regents to gain some real-life work-based learning experiences here in the building. So we have that program up and running. It's run wonderfully by Ms. Sherry Bowman. I'll give her a shout out there. It was previously housed in our special class with Mrs. Lyden last year, but now is its own kind of functioning program. So this week they got the coffee cart up and running, which for many teachers was a welcome back, where they take orders of our coffee and then deliver that service to us. They also have copying and printing and shredding as a service, so some office tasks. And they also have some students who are servicing the courtyards and doing that for some hours. So all of these are hours that will contribute to credits towards their graduation on their alternative pathway. One of the other exciting updates is that we have a sensory room now in the high school, and we are tracking the data usage of how often that's being utilized by our students, whether it's for sensory breaks, needing a quiet space to calm down, or a quiet space to work, including for quiet lunches if they are sensory overloaded by the cafeterias. So we're very thankful for that. We are going to keep track of how much that's being used. Another exciting sensory addition was our sensory pathway that got placed in the elementary building this year in the kindergarten pre-K hallway. That was something we've been trying to get for a couple of years, and finally the timing worked out between the cleaning of the floors and waxing that was able to get put in place this year for our students to use. And so it's in that hallway and also in the art wing hallway, I believe. So there's kind of 3 different pathways that they can use as they're going through the building. For elementary, our special ed teachers are split between 2 grade levels each. We did have some overlap and some issues this year. We have 2 grade level cohorts of special ed students that are quite large and are very close to the regulation 50% capacity for the classroom. So the 0.4 position that has just recently been posted is to help be in compliance with that and managing caseloads for those.
I could just for Keela. Keela and I met today, and she was unable to make it because of volleyball. So we went through a couple things that she wanted me to share on her behalf. First off, I know she also says thank you to the board for your volunteer and your time as well. I know she's enjoying being on the board. So she wanted to mention Spirit Week is coming up. Students are very excited about that. It's the 21st to the 25th. And the senior class has selected some very unique themes this year, which I saw today. Emily shaking her head. Emily, do you want to share the themes off the top of your head that you remember? I saw them today, and I was trying to figure out what some of them were exactly. There was a match, opposite, something. Go for it.
We have Monday, Minion Monday, so dress as Despicable Me characters. Tuesday, we have Teen Beach Tuesday, so it's going to be bikers versus surfers. Wednesday, we are Old Wednesday, so we are going to dress as senior citizens. Thursday, Time to Rhyme Thursday, so it's like rhyme without reason. I can't think of one, but I can't think of one off the top of my head, but it's with a partner. So you dress up as one thing and a partner dresses up as something. That could be totally different, but it rhymes.
Like fairy and dairy, like something like that.
Yeah. And then Friday is class colors.
Thank you. Much better coming from you than myself. I was trying to understand it with Mr. Papacello today. He was trying to explain to me, Mr. Papacello, and I felt like a struggling student. So it's going to be great. It's going to be fun, for sure. Homecoming is the 25th, so we won't see you again until after that. So that's on the 25th, and there's a pep rally that day. Students are going to be excited about. I think we're doing it indoors this year in the gym for a more cozy environment. Oh, that's the word I'll use. I was asked. So
it's just louder. We're too small.
Louder. Okay. So they asked to have it inside this year. I said yes, of course, and I think I'm seeing it. Or Mr. Olson maybe go there. We'll see. And then the dance is on the 26th, their homecoming dance. So it's an exciting time for students. And then for the middle school, we have the PTSA Halloween social as well coming up on October 30th, the day before Halloween. And then we end the month with the tradition the last few years, which is the school Halloween dress up, where students and staff all dress in different costumes, and we select a winning, usually group of teachers for the day. So it's a really exciting time in October. So thank you on behalf of Caleb Bedoy. Thank you, Mr.
Okay, so that brings us to committee and liaison updates. Anybody have anything they want to update? Thank you.
I think just one thing from the PTSA, what day was that? Someday this week we had our meeting. Tuesday. Okay. And we shared the presentation, a little bit about the presentation from Dave Little, talking mainly around the opportunity that is in front of us and the need to be advocates, and the request from the PTSA was for material that they could use, samples, marketing, whatever they might be able to get us through the Rural Schools Association. So I wanted to make sure that got communicated back to the board.
I did want to bring up the fact that New York State United Teachers has come out with a complete ban on cell phones in school. Just thought, we talked about it a little bit last time, and I think it's something that we should bring to the forefront and make a decision on what we want. So
That would be not a policy change, but would be a handbook change. So I can get the board, the handbook language as it currently is. We could take a look at it.
Yeah, maybe next month we could talk about it. So that brings us to the district calendar readings update. That's nothing to make motion on.
It's just adopting just the language that we're going to be repeating what we did last year, which was, not all the students are going to attend school. Some students are going to be invited in to help on a very small group instruction of their teachers to get back on track. That was exceptionally successful last year. We were grateful for that.
So that brings us to special ed, 5.1 through 5.3, motion to put that on the table. Leah, Ryan, all in favor? Motion carries. So that brings us now to 6.1 through 6.12. Motion to put that on the table. Tammy, Kevin, any discussion?
No, we spoke to most of these things.
Joy is leaving.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Joy's been with us for about 15 years at least.
Yeah.
Which is very, very unusual in the food service world. She's a dedicated employee. Can't find a harder worker, and we wish her nothing but the best as her and her husband go into retirement. So I think I mentioned in our news and notes, Stephanie is working on some pieces for the hiring.
Doing the posting out there. If you know anybody, send them our way. Get it on OLAS. Our district website.
What is it?
I believe we posted 65 to 72 during that experience. And that's
10
10
months?
months plus 20 days. So they typically do 20 days in summer. Let's see if we get it. They would have posted that in tomorrow.
We have some uploading too.
Another option we're looking at if that doesn't pan out, Kevin Regenbos, he's actually has a food service director service, and they actually send somebody postings here. And that a lot of districts have been going for that model.
Last one.
Does yes, of course.
But you do get 8 on it.
You do get 8 on it.
So it's
And it does help some pieces of fitting, food buying, it's bigger. But let's see.
So all in favor? Motion carries. Brings us to 7.1 through 7.6. Motion to put that on the table. Danielle, Ryan? Discussion?
just a couple of things I want to point out to you. Schoolhouse and SEI Design, those are the architect and the construction management firm. We are re-engaging contracts with them. These have been all vetted by both Stephanie and our attorney, so we feel really comfortable with those. I do want to also point your attention to 7.2, which is the emergency spill cleanup. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Right now, we don't really have an entire total of how much that will cost. And then Stephanie will be working with the insurance company, but I'm confident that that'll be a fight to get reimbursement back for some of the pieces as any insurance carrier. But we still have some major things to go with that spill. We have to have the contaminated soil removed. We have to continue digging some more, and we have to do the repairs of that. But the pipes will get repaired and all those things. Then the new dirt will be put back in, and then we have an asphalt company coming in. And fencing, actually, and the fencing is very expensive, believe it or not. So it's just one of those things. It hasn't been too much of a nuisance at the bus garage, which was one of my worries, but it's been really challenging just to get the workers and we really want the asphalt to go down before winter and it gets cold. So we're really hoping. Right now, we're just hoping to get on the schedule of a company that does specialized fall. So we're just kind of at their mercy at this point. So I'm confident that there'll be another update next month. And we might have to appropriate some more funds, but we'll just keep working at that. But take a look at it because it adds up quickly, very, very quickly.
So all in favor? Motion carries. Brings us to public comment.
My name's Gio, and I was wondering if you have a club where if I had a big trip, I could go in this photography or video equipment because my schedule didn't have enough to be put into a class for that.
So have you talked to Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say that would probably be your next best step to see if that would be something you would be comfortable with. Would you agree with that, Mr. Rizzo?
I agree.
Yeah.
Well,
Luke Buckley. I was wondering, if there's any way that for the past lunches where the lunches were paid for, in between where COVID times where we had free lunches, now we get free lunches, there was a period where we had paid lunches. And I would get lunch, and then sometimes I would forget to pay. And now that oh, and it happens to other kids too. A lot of kids have old lunches that aren't paid for now. So I was wondering if there's any way that we could have the debts forgiven now that the lunches are free.
So I don't think so. I'm fairly positive no, but we do sometimes have people that reach out to us that want to pay off a student's debt.
Okay.
So sometimes that happens, but there's no mechanism where the school can do that.
Awesome. Okay. I appreciate it.
Do we know what the total balance is?
I don't want to find out.
Ryan,
I'm over that.
Evan,
Hi, I'm Evan. I've noticed that recently, ever since COVID, bathrooms have become more and more disgusting. Stall doors not closing, locks not locking. The boys' bathroom sometimes are trash smells. I believe that there should be more sanitation and better cleaning, and maybe more funds directed towards maybe repairing the bathrooms.
So what I can do is I can grab you in the next couple of days and we can meet with Mr. McCormick, who's our head of O&M, and you can share some of your thoughts on that and give him, because I'm sure he's not going in all the bathrooms all the time, so we can work on that.
Jaden,
Hi, I'm Kate Campbell. I had a question about, so if the ban of phones was to be placed in our school, how would, like say, a lockdown happened, real lockdown, how would students contact their parents? And I think it's a safety concern. So how would that?
Well, they haven't changed anything yet, so I'm not really sure that I have a really good answer for you, but I think that's really good feedback and consideration as a part of the bigger discussion.
Jane, I would say, talk to Deputy Loper tomorrow and see what he says regarding students calling their parents during a lockdown. And
Deputy Loper's here.
this, I'll put him on the spot. You're in the corner.
So something we probably voluntary lockdown in a situation is this situation is not possible. So what we like is going direct sources of information in school, other offices in school, or safety. So we don't like all of the technical because they can say something you're saying. Everybody's gonna attack. Get the whole point that you want to make sure your parents are safe. You want to make sure your parents are safe. But our first priority is making sure we're all safe and then go for contact.
I'll also just add, I personally was an assistant principal in a school where there was a situation where false information was put out by students and parents flooded the school, blocked up the emergency lane, and people, the first responders coming in the building. And I was in charge that day of the school trying to get, it was very chaotic because of all the phones that people texting parents. Parents got very, very alarmed. So it can also work both ways where on one hand it can comfort, your child's safe. On the other hand, it can also disseminate false information when it comes to, and parents will naturally come, and we're all parents here. It's natural to want to make sure your kid is safe. So it's a tricky one when it comes to like that topic in schools.
Thank you.
my name is Emily Roadcap. I'm a senior here. I wanted to give an update about Tamarack Yak and the Polar Plunge. So Tamarack Yak, formerly known as Tamarack Youth Activation Committee, is a club that promotes social inclusion for those with or without any form of disabilities to combine communities for sports, activities, etc. So Special Olympics sponsors our club, and the Polar Plunge is a huge way to grow money for Special Olympics so that they can buy our athletes cool backpacks with fun accessories. So next week is our recruitment week for students. We're going to be at lunches asking for students to participate in the Polar Plunge. My question to you is, would anyone here like to participate in the Polar Plunge?
I heard Mrs. Roadcap was interested.
Mr. Raritan.
What is the date?
November 23rd, Lake George at Butler Park, or Shepherd Park, sorry.
The other thing too, Emily, I'm happy to, if they're not able to be in person, they can also send donations on behalf of the student or the school. I'm happy to send that link to everybody as well.
Yes, we're really trying to hit our goal of 7,000.
Whoa.
Last year, we hit 6,000. So our goal was 4,000, but we hit 6. So for my senior year, I want to go bigger than ever. So any guidance to get growth for our donation link would be awesome.
Good job.
Thank you.
We share that social media.
Absolutely.
I'll also just add one other piece on YAC, that they're also going to a leadership summit next week to represent Tamarack as part of a regional conference. So we're very excited for them to go to that this week as well.
Where is that?
I believe in Albany.
I think it's in the not the convention center, yeah. The
Yes.
rooms in the eggs. I'm very positive.
Hi, I'm Nadine. And I guess I was just wondering, like, why the students who are graduating early aren't allowed to go to any of the school events. And if, like, in the future, or whatever.
That's news to me.
I was gonna say, I don't know anything about that, but we
Yeah.
can, if you come find Mr. Rizzo or I tomorrow, we can talk about, because I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, early graduates, we definitely can attend events. We can certainly discuss offline.
Really?
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, maybe there's something indeed specific that I'm missing here, but we can certainly chat tomorrow and, yeah, like if a student graduates, for example, in January, they're able to attend prom, for example. Okay, that's one example, okay? We'll chat.
Cameron. Hi, I'm Cameron McCart. I know that this is somewhat old to some of you, but I was wondering why you chose the turf field, just because I know students in athletes are more prone to get more injuries and the black beads can like shoot up into their eyes. I think a lot of problems.
So there's more versatility with it and less maintenance. And actually, the research that was presented to us actually showed just the opposite with injuries for turf field. So I'm sure you can find survey, research projects that show both things. But overall, weighing the benefits versus the cons, the board decided to go with turf. Also, it'll be here quicker, and if we did some other work, it would be offline for a while longer.
As a voting member, I want to say part of it was for a natural field, it was 3 years without a field. So we have to bus kids to find fields to play on for 3 years, which takes kids out of sports. You may not draw kids in. And by the time we actually had the field, we were concerned we might not have enough players to field certain things.
That's it. Okay,
You have a second.
so we need a, motion to go into executive session for personnel matter. Danielle, Tammy, all in favor? All right, thank you all for coming.
Yeah, so I have one. And that's not the final.
Oh, my old boss.
He said,
Oh.
I.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Oh, this yes. There's a math teacher up north from the Adirondack before he was a sheik of 34 years, Russ.
Well, and he's been retired like 6 or 7.
Yeah, probably.
But his wife Jess is our.
Yes, I do that, of course.
She
Yeah.
can go.
He filled in as my believe in elementary school at one point for you guys. On the elementary school a couple years ago, a little bit.
So he definitely said, "Oh, how will you see Ken? Well, be sure to tell her."
Yeah, likewise, you see him again, tell by so well. He was my boss for many years.
Oh,
He
you
ran the
mentioned
building.
the
He ran the building very well. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice.